Hi, I'm Kris, and I'm excited to have you join me this week. We're going to be talking about, are you getting the biggest bang out of gratitude? So many times we get involved in our life and we recognize all the things that are going wrong or all the things that are not happening. And yet if we step back, gratitude alone can be the single most biggest way to change your life. So join me and watch this episode because there are so many things that you can gain from gratitude. Before I jump in and talk about all those things that I want to share with you, I just want to make sure that you have joined our community. So if you haven't joined with us, join right here on the screen, AllThingsPossible.biz. You can join to get free gifts and be able to get our blog and the video every week. So join our community. I love having our community with All Things Possible and being able to share with you just nuggets and those important things that can change your life. So let's talk about gratitude. Gratitude is one of the 7 traits that I teach all the time, and there are so many really good things that come from gratitude. I want you to think about business and coworkers. What would happen if you had gratitude for those people? If you were in gratitude for them and what they were doing, what they're bringing to your company, what they're doing for your team, what would happen? How would that change? Because I can tell you, it's been proven over and over across the board for all the years that we've had life, right? That gratitude is the single most concept that you can change instantly how things are going. I want you to think about when we implement gratitude and instead of complaining or finding fault, right? So when you've got a coworker, even if they made a big mistake, what if you were to have gratitude, which I call genuine gratitude, for even those challenges, those times that we're learning new things and moving ourselves forward, learning bigger traits, bigger concepts. I remember personally when we went through cancer with my son. He was 9. I had 4 little kids at home. And we spent 180 days in the hospital. So I slept in a wooden rocking chair most of those nights. And it became really challenging. And yet, some of the biggest things I teach today, I learned then. And when I have gratitude around how I learned those concepts and why it changed our lives and how it's affected our lives, that same son that was 9 then is 33 now, and his life is completely different, and he teaches me all the time because he steps back and does things differently because of what we did then. When we can embrace those challenges and those trials and have genuine gratitude, that makes all the difference. When I teach this concept, I teach it as generic gratitude versus genuine. And generic gratitude is when we're, thankful for the food, thankful for a roof over our head. And if you've heard me speak at all, shoes, right? I'm grateful for shoes. I love shoes, have a lot of them. But it's when we are grateful for the challenges, the difficulties, the lessons learned. It's sometimes hard to be grateful in those moments, yet it is so powerful when we can be grateful for what we're learning, the progress, and how far we've come. Some of the greatest challenges that we have and the biggest difficulties will teach us the biggest principles. That can be in business, in personal life, in all aspects, right? In relationships. Sometimes those challenges make us so much stronger that we can get through anything. It's not happiness that gives us gratitude. It is gratitude that brings us happiness. And that is always the case. When we even go to second world countries, we go to places that don't have the things that we have. They have very little, and yet they are the most grateful people ever. I have several people that take groups to Africa, and they're just amazed because they go and they see these limited things and limited quantities of things that they have, and yet they're the most grateful people you'll find. Hal Elrod, I love this quote from him. Many, many years ago, he said, "Gratitude and complaining cannot coexist simultaneously. You must choose the one that best serves you. I love that because gratitude and complaining cannot coexist. They cannot be there simultaneously. So the second that you are complaining, you're out of gratitude. You might as well just say, here, let me hand over my abundance because I don't care. I don't want it. Let me hand over my happiness because I don't want it. Think about that. You can either be grateful or you can complain. And that, it across the board, doesn't matter if it's at home with your family or at work with coworkers or a boss, it doesn't matter. It is a true principle and it will happen every time. Now, I teach that we have generic gratitude versus genuine gratitude. Sometimes when we're in that middle of that challenge or trial, or maybe that hard thing that happened at work, the computer came apart. Like recently, this last month, I've had a really big, pile of trials going on. And one of the things was I had a computer go down with a whole terabyte of information. It had everything for 3 companies. And it had not shared to the cloud properly, so there was a lot that we lost. In fact, 200 corrupted files were the most recent 200 corrupted files. So my book, everything from this year, was in these corrupted files, and it's just been a nightmare to bring everything back and to get back on track. In fact, I've still got lots and lots to do to get back to where I was. And yet I'm learning a different filing system, I'm learning a different save practice, I'm putting in new systems and everything into my business. And when I approach it with gratitude and what I'm learning and how I'm cleaning things out, and I mean, I got a 5 terabyte external hard drive that I can travel with, it brought a lot of other abundance by me embracing it with genuine gratitude. Gratitude is the single biggest way to bring more into your life. The single biggest way is just to be grateful. I teach an acronym with this. It's called GROW. G-R-O-W. When I talk about gratitude, I love to teach this acronym because these 4 words can change how you're doing things. The first one is goodness. You need to find the greater good. No matter who you're dealing with, no matter what problem you've got to find the greater good. Find the good that you've got going on in that project. Find the good in that new thing that you're doing, whether it's writing a book or possibly putting out a new product or a new idea, a new service. Find the good. Find the greater good for everyone. And be generous. Goodness comes from your heart. So when you come from your heart, you are in goodness. We get so stuck in our head. When we can come from our heart, we can be in goodness, and it will make a huge difference in your being grateful and having gratitude, and in how that abundance shows up for you. The R is for ready. We need to be ready to show gratitude, ready to embrace things differently. We need to be ready to find the gratitude, ready to find where that is. I'll give you an example. My dog that I had for a lot of years, and she was a toy poodle, and she knew she was my dog, and she was by me at all times. And my kids even thought she was irritating because if I left, she was upset. And she was run over and killed recently. And it was so hard for me because there was this, 20, 40 foot skid that you could see where they had gone over her, and it was from my driveway to the neighbor's house, and it was so hard for me to drive out or come home because here's this big skid mark down my road, and it was really hard. It was a really big challenge. Recently, they went through our area and they filled all the cracks with tar, and because they did this, it made it very difficult to really see the details of that skid mark. And I can't tell you how awesome it was to be ready to embrace the change, ready to change and find what I could, find the good in that, find the good in them, just filling the cracks to take away that feeling of every time I left. And This has been months. This has gone on for 3 or 4 months. Every time I drove out of my driveway, every time I came home, there's the skid mark, which brought my mind right back to losing my dog, losing my companion, right? And so I got to embrace something that was different. I was ready to do it differently, ready to handle that. For the O, it's open. We need to be open to see things differently. We've got to be open to the possibility that I could look at it a different way. Again, that skid mark. I was open to say, I love that they did this, that they filled the cracks, and that it's, makes it more difficult to see, and there's not that pattern and that skid mark like it used to be. Just that simple thing helped me not feel sad every time I left the house or came home. It helped me to embrace it in a different way. Our open is open to new ideas, open to new things, open to progress your life differently, open to relationships looking different than they do, open to the possibilities that are out there for you. And the W is for written. Gratitude will really push you forward if you will write it. I love to teach to have a gratitude journal. Write down 5 things you're grateful for every day. I challenge you to try to write 5 new ones every day for a year. That's a lot of gratitude. And it's a lot of you having to really look into your life and find what you're grateful for. Write thank you cards. Send an email. Type out, that's kind of written, right? And send it in a memo to the entire team. Be willing to give that outside recognition and to write it down. Come up with a wall that has, hey, it's our gratitude, it's our recognition, and put Post-its on it. Write it down and show that in written form you are grateful for them and grateful for what they're doing. This is a short video with lots of content. I hope you can wrap your mind around this. I teach it in my book. If you haven't gotten my book, Leadership from the Inside Out, Are You the Leader You Would Follow? Grab my book. I've got stories and principles in there. I teach the 7 traits, and it's phenomenal for you both personally and in your business and at work. Thanks for being here with me. Again, if you haven't joined our community, join right here at the bottom. Love having you here, and we'll see you next time right here on All Things Possible. Bye-bye. Have a great day.